Hello, this is Matthew from Simplilearn, and today we're going to be covering Node.js Authentication using JWT or JSON Web Tokens. So let's get started. So why are we going to go down this path? So let's cover the key things that you need to be asking yourself, such as what is a JSON Web Token? What is the value of using a JSON Web Token? And then what does the actual structure of the JWT look like? And then let's go through some use cases of where you'd actually use JWTs, both in the enterprise and in the real world. And then finally, we're actually going to go through a demo on how you can actually install a JWT using Express and Node.js. So let's dive into what actually is a JSON Web Token. So a JSON Web Token is actually based on an open standard. It's one that you can actually go ahead and research, and it allows a definition of a compact, self-contained way of being able to securely transmit information between parties using a JSON object. And a JSON object is a JavaScript array, and it's very compact. It's a very tight way of being able to send data back and forth. The thing that's great about using a JSON Web Token is that the information itself is encrypted, and it can only be verified and trusted through a public-private key pair. And we'll get into that about how you can actually get to those. So, why would you actually want to go ahead and use a JSON Web Token? Are there other formats that you can use? Well, yes, there are other formats you can use, but what's great about a JWT is that it is a great way to be able to pass data from HTTP servers. So if you're building a web application and you have a web application where you need to pass authentication of it, using a JWT is a great way to be able to do that. So for instance, you may have a number of enterprise applications that run across your cloud environment. You may have some enterprise applications that run in your data center, and you want to have people come in, such as your employees or your customers, authenticate once and then be able to have their ID transition from one to the next. JWT is a great way to do that. The content is extremely secure, and we'll get more into that in a moment, but it is the highest level of security you can have right now. And the final great thing about working with JWT is that the actual tokens themselves are very well documented, and so there's actually a lot of parsers that you can use. So being able to add in JWT into your application is very, very easy to do, which makes it very easy for you to actually implement at a large scale authentication and authorization. And so authorization is a key word there. That's something that you're probably coming across a lot. Instead of just being able to identify who you are, we want to be able to authorize what you have access to. So let's have a look at the structure of a JWT. There are several key elements. The first is the header, and that's actually going to break down what kind of token it is. By default, it's going to be a JWT token. And what is the signing algorithm? So SHA-512 is a very complex and secure algorithm. Certainly the one that I would recommend that you use. You can even go higher than that, but SHA-512 is a great place to start. And then you have the payload, and the payload is the information that's been actually encrypted within the web token. So in this instance, we have a name, the admin type, subname. Just really, you can put whatever kind of information you want in there, as long as it's applicable to the service that you're passing the data into. And then you have your signature, which is encoded header and payload with the algorithm that you've sent. So in this instance, it's SHA-512 algorithm. So let's look at some of the use cases that you'd have for JWT. So a couple of use cases would be authorization. So say, for instance, you have a application and you want to be able to authorize somebody to have access to different parts of the application. A JWT is a great way to be able to encrypt that data and be able to pass that data back and forth. Examples would be jumping from different parts of Office 365 and being able to have access to different features within the system. And then another area would be if you're doing information exchange. So if information is being securely exchanged from one person to another. So a blockchain scenario, a multi-distributed environment where you want to be able to have a way to be able to securely transmit data back and forth and know that that data is being encrypted is another good example. So with that, let's take a pivot and we'll go ahead and we'll look at creating a demo using our standard stack of Node.js, and we'll use Express and Postman. And these are tools that you may already be familiar with if you've seen other videos that we've created in this series. And we'll go ahead and create a JWT token. So let's go into our demo of how to create a JWT JSON Web Token. There's going to be some tools that we need to get started with. Node.js is the first, so let's go ahead and find Node.js at nodejs.org, and you can either download Windows, Mac, or Linux code. Obviously, you'd install the one that would be for your operating system. The next tool that we want to install is a text editor. We're going to use Visual Studio Code or VS Code. Go to code.visualstudio.com, download this. This will run on Mac, Windows, and Linux. Really great text code editor. And then we're also going to use Postman. Postman is a tool that allows you to access and view APIs that we'll be creating with Express. And you go to postman.com, hit download. And again, there's versions of Postman for all leading operating systems, and have those installed and up and running. So we're going to go ahead and let's open up Visual Studio Code. And we're going to start by creating our project. So let's go full screen on this, get rid of the welcome screen. And let's go and open up a folder where we'll actually have our project. We're going to put this on our desktop for right now. Let's go create a new folder and we'll call this Node JWT for JSON Web Token. Select that folder, and we're going to want to go ahead and use npm to initialize this folder for Node. And so let's get rid of the welcome screen again, and let's go ahead. And one of the things I love about VS Code is you can actually run the terminal window right from in here. So let's go ahead and select npm init, already knows to pull from the folder that we're in, and we're just going to select yes here in a second for our, let's go ahead and create that. And you'll see that the packet has been created, and there is a JSON packet with just default information about the npm package that we created for Node. And we're going to go ahead and create an index.js file. That's what we've been pulling from the package. And the index.js files, we're going to actually write all of our code. And what we want to do right now is install Express. And Express is going to be used to create the APIs that we'll be able to test our JWT against. And then we'll also want to install a JWT file. So let's call this JSON Web Token. And from our terminal window, we'll just go ahead and install both of those. And you do that by typing npm install --save. And then we're going to put Express and JSON Web Token. Express and JSON Web Token. And we'll just go ahead and let those install. It only takes a moment for those to get installed. All right, we're up and running. Okay. So let's go ahead and start bringing in some of our apps. So we're going to create an Express app, and we're going to use the get HTTP header to have everything go from the, we're going to actually have everything running on our local host, and we're going to run everything off port 3000. We're going to do that in a moment here, but we'll have everything running off a sub folder called API. That's where our web application is going to be running from. And we'll put in a message that hey there to show that everything's up and running. Okay, and save that. And save. You can do Control+S to save your files, as you can with a lot of Windows applications. I encourage you to do that a lot. So let's go ahead and open up Postman. We're not even going to go to our web browser on this one. And we'll open up Postman. Takes a moment to run the first time. Here it comes. And Postman, again, is a tool for being able to manage API calls. So you don't have to write a script. So here we are. And we can go in here and that's where we're going to write our script. But we have to do a couple of things first. Let's get everything running. So we want to listen for port 3000. That's where we're going to run everything off of. And in the console log, we'll actually throw in a message to confirm that we are running on, everything is up and running. We'll just say, okay, server started on port 3000. Again, we're going to be running everything off localhost, so you'll be able to see this. And this is, as you imagine, just a test environment. So let's go down into our console. We'll run this script, node index.js to run the script. It runs really fast, not a whole lot going on there. And we're having everything running off the API file. So let's go and we'll type in under our get localhost :3000 /API. And we hit there's lots of different HTTP headers we can use. We're going to use get for right now. We'll send that. And hey there, welcome to the API service. So to be clear, this is just an API we're creating right now. This is not JWT. We'll get into that right now. All right. So we want to be able to post data, and post is actually pushing data in. So we're going to go into, going to create a login screen. Again, this is all API, so it's not real, but you get the point. And then we can construct a user. And let's go ahead and what we're doing here is we're creating an array of a random user, and they can have a name of ID1. The user's going to have an ID value, which is 1, a username value, which is going to be John, and then an email value of john@gmail.com. And then we'll make this a JSON Web Token JWT sign-in, and they'll have to sign in with their user. And this is going to use a secret key, which will be our hash 512 token. And we'll respond to the JSON with the token. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, and we're going to and this will be our post API posts. And what we're going to be able to do is we're going to jump from one app to another app, and you'll be able to see how we can move the token with it. And the message will read post created. All right. So let's just run that script. Index.js runs real quick. Okay. So if we come over here and we go to posts and hit send, and say message posts created. Good. So let's go ahead and try that again. And we want to go to the login. So we're going from one app to another app. Select post. And here in the login, we should be able to request the token. This will be our JWT token. When we hit send, we should get our token. And here you can see the whole token is encrypted. It's that huge long line. It's very unique. And now we want to be able to go in and say, okay, let's verify the token. So we've gone ahead and we've created the token, but now we need to, as we go from app to app, we need to actually verify the token. So we're going to get an error message if we don't verify the token correctly. So we're going to put in a function to verify the token. And we're going to create a bearer header value, which will be the headers and the authorization for that. And if type of bearer header, we're going to either have it, if it's not correct, it'll be undefined. Otherwise, this bearer token, it will be split. And we're going to require the token for our bearer token. Else send status 403. Okay, so bearer token is what we're going to be calling against to verify our token. I'll show you how that works in just a moment. And this will be to authorize. And to authorize, we'll need to actually go ahead and use the token. So we can actually put in here. All right, so I think everything's looking pretty good. Oh, and if we get the error message, it means that we'll see the message forbidden if we don't put in the code correctly. So let's double check that everything is looking good. We're going to verify that the token is required. Okay. So if it is, then JWT.verify. And this will connect our token appropriately. And we'll be able to put that in as a part of our secret key. And if it is successful, we'll put in that message there. And we're also going to pull in the authorization data. Yep, looking good. As you can see, a lot of the work is just making sure that everything is aligned up correctly. Okay, so let's run our code, node index.js. There we go, nice and fast. And we're going to go in and localhost API posts. We'll change this to post. So this one API, which is the API posts, which is up here. We're going to hit send. And you can see that we have the error code forbidden has come up, which is what we were expecting, because we haven't been able to put in a secret key. And put in the comment there, forbidden, so as we're stepping through the code. But now what we can actually do is we can go back and we can grab the token. And here is our token below. And we just want the token itself, we don't need the wrappers. And copy that. Come over here. And if we write again, it's going to say forbidden, but if we go into our headers, we can put in authorization, and then the value, we'll do bearer, and then the key. And once we do this, we now get all of the data that we were asking for pulled back, which is exactly what we wanted. So you can see here how we can actually securely use a JWT to pass values back and forth across the application. Okay. And we hit authorization, and we select that and approve it. Yep, we keep authorizing. So if you don't authorize, then you don't get the data. Okay, so we have everything against the API. And we have one application which is called API post. We have another application called API login, and we're able to move the data back and forth using our secret key in our JWT token. And we have everything running on port 3000 of our local host server. And that's our demo. And that's our session on JWT. If you have any questions or comments, please post those in the comments below. We do read all of them, and we'd like to get replies to all of those questions that you have. If you like the video, consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you hit the notification bell, then you'll also get updates of new videos that we create. We're constantly creating new DevOps videos and other videos in our Simplilearn training series, posting them onto YouTube. So we want to make sure that you have the best possible way of getting access to that content. Have a great day.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.